On a quiet suburban street, just after sunset, a decorated army general pulled into his own driveway, expecting nothing more than a peaceful evening at home. Instead, he was met with flashing lights, drawn weapons, and a police officer who had already decided he was guilty. What happened next would spark a federal investigation, ignite national outrage, and ultimately destroy the career of the officer, who crossed a legal and moral line he could never uncross. This is the story of how one unlawful arrest exposed a pattern of bias, and how the law came crashing down on the man sworn to uphold it. General Marcus Hale was not just any soldier. He had spent 28 years in service, multiple deployments, commendations for leadership, a reputation for discipline and integrity. Neighbors describe him as calm, reserved, the kind of man who waved politely and kept to himself. Neighbor, he'd come home in uniform sometimes, always respectful. You'd never imagine anyone having a problem with him. That evening, the general returned from a meeting at a nearby base. He parked in his driveway, turned off the engine, and reached for his briefcase. That's when he saw the patrol car. Officer Daniel Reeves had been patrolling the area after a vague report of a suspicious vehicle. No description, no plate number, no confirmed crime, just suspicion. As the general stepped out of his car, Reeves approached aggressively. "Officer Reeves, hands where I can see them. Step away from the vehicle." General Hale froze, confused but compliant. He calmly placed his briefcase on the ground and raised his hands. "General Hale, officer, I live here. This is my home." But Reeves wasn't listening. Body camera footage would later reveal something chilling. Reeves never asked for ID before escalating. He never confirmed residency. He never verified any crime. Instead, he walked straight up the driveway, without a warrant, and ordered the general to lie face down. On his own property. "General Hale, I'm a United States Army general. You're making a mistake." "Officer Reeves, I don't care who you say you are. Get on the ground. Now." Neighbors began peeking through curtains. Phones came out. Cameras started recording. And in that moment, the general, decorated, respected, and unarmed, was forced to the ground. In his own driveway. Without a warrant. Without probable cause. Without confirming identity. Officer Reeves placed the general in handcuffs and declared him under arrest for suspicion of burglary. Burglary. At his own home. "General Hale, you are unlawfully detaining me. This will have consequences." But Reeves doubled down. "Officer Reeves, you people always have excuses. Save it for the station." That single sentence, captured clearly on bodycam, would later become the most damning evidence of all. Within minutes, the general's wife rushed outside, holding his military ID and house keys. "Wife, that's my husband. He lives here. He's a general in the US Army." Reeves hesitated, but only briefly. Instead of releasing him immediately, he called for backup, attempting to justify the arrest after the fact. By the time supervising officers arrived, the truth was undeniable. This was not a burglary suspect. This was a high-ranking military officer being unlawfully detained, in front of his own home, and neighbors had filmed everything. The footage hit social media the next morning. Millions watched as a calm, compliant Black Army general was forced to the ground, while repeatedly explaining he lived there. Public reaction was immediate and explosive. Legal analysts pointed out multiple violations: no warrant, no probable cause, unlawful entry onto private property, racially charged language caught on camera. Within 48 hours, the department placed Officer Reeves on administrative leave. But the story was far from over. Internal Affairs launched a formal investigation. Then, a federal civil rights inquiry followed. What investigators discovered shocked even seasoned officials. This wasn't an isolated incident. Complaints had been filed before. Claims of aggressive stops, disproportionate targeting, questionable arrests. That never resulted in charges. Each complaint had been dismissed, until now, because this time there was video. Clear, undeniable, unfiltered. General Hale broke his silence at a press conference 1 week later. "General Hale, I have served this country for nearly 3 decades. I have defended the Constitution and the rights it guarantees. To be treated as a criminal on my own property, without cause, without respect, is not just a personal insult. It is a violation of the very freedoms I swore to protect. His words were calm, controlled, but powerful, and they shifted the conversation nationwide. Civil rights attorneys filed a federal lawsuit alleging unlawful arrest, racial discrimination, and violation of constitutional rights. The bodycam footage became the centerpiece of the case. Frame by frame, attorneys demonstrated. The officer ignored lawful explanations. The arrest occurred without evidence of a crime. The statement, "You people always have excuses," suggested bias. Legal experts called the case devastating. 3 months later, the verdict came down. Officer Daniel Reeves was terminated from the police force. His certification was revoked, and the federal court ruled that the arrest violated the general's Fourth Amendment rights. The department also faced a costly civil settlement and mandatory policy reforms. But perhaps the most powerful moment came during the judge's closing remarks. Judge, authority without accountability is abuse. The Constitution protects every citizen equally, regardless of rank, race, or status. That principle was ignored here. The case became a landmark example cited in police training nationwide. Departments revised policies on warrantless detentions, bias recognition, use of force escalation protocols. As for General Hale, he returned to duty, but the incident left a lasting mark. General Hale, "I don't seek revenge. I seek accountability, so this never happens to someone else." In the end, this wasn't just about one officer and one unlawful arrest. It was about power, prejudice, and the fragile line between authority and injustice. A decorated Army general was forced to the ground in his own driveway, without a warrant, without cause, and without dignity. But the truth was captured on camera, and when the footage was seen by the world, the system could no longer look away, because no badge is above the Constitution, and no citizen should have to prove they belong in their own home.